All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Grab a sheet of paper, and on the far left sheet of paper I want you to write GROW, growth. Now, the G is for your goal or goals. What were your goals at the beginning of 2025? You're going to write those next to G. If you had one goal, so for example, I want to close 36 sales, then that's the goal. And R is reality. So reality is, where are you right now? And this is a conversation that I like to have at the end of every quarter, because you want to make sure that you're tracking your goals based on where you are right now. So one of the questions that I'll ask my coaching clients is, what is track? And the answer to track is, based on where I am today, what am I tracking for the end of the year? So if the G is closed 36 sales and I've closed 4 sales through the first quarter, then I'm tracking 16. 4 times 4 is 16. And the next question then becomes, what's the gap? What's the gap between track and reality? And once you know what the gap is, your job becomes close the gap. Now, one of the common questions I get is, how much time do I give myself to close the gap? And the answer is right now. In other words, if your goal is to take, we'll go with 36 again. If your goal is to take 3 listings every month, then or 36 listings for the year, then your goal is 3 listings per month. And by the end of the first quarter, you should be at 9 listings taken. Let's say that you've taken 7 listings through the first quarter. Well, the gap is 2. You got to close the gap now. It's not over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months. It's go out and find 2 more listings right now. All right. O is obstacles. What are the obstacles that are standing between you and your goal? And take some time, make sure you write down everything, right? So for example, one of my obstacles could be, well, I don't want to call expired listings. I really don't want to do that. I hate calling expired listings. John, if I could do anything else but call expired listings and close this gap, I would. And here's the thing. If you can, then do it. And if not, what's the one thing that you're currently not doing that if you were to start doing it today would move you closer to your goals? I know Emma is on the call here. I saw her just a minute ago. She's not popping up on my screen. She might be on page 2 or 3. Where are you at, Emma? You're here somewhere. So I'm on there you are. There you are, bottom right. Okay. So I'm on a coaching call with Emma yesterday, and Emma is so accountable. She's not a victim. She is absolutely determined to hit her goals. And I asked her, so on a scale of 1 to 10, another question I ask every coaching client, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you? How important are your goals? And her answer, of course, was a 10. And the next question I always ask after that question is, what are you not willing to do in order to hit your goals? And Emma, I hope it's okay I'm talking about you. I'm doing it anyway.
It's fun.
Not like you have to record. So one of the things that I love about Emma, we're on a call yesterday, and she shares with me that, give me a moment because I'm on the wrong page here, guys. She shares with me that she made 182 expired listing calls last week. Everybody hear that? 182 expired listing calls last week. Now, these are to the sellers. They're not to the other agents. This is somebody who doesn't like to make expired listing calls, hates it. But she made 182 calls because she's motivated to hit her goals. On a scale of 1 to 10, she's a 10. And what are you not willing to do in order to achieve those goals? Her answer was nothing. There's nothing I won't do. in order to achieve my goals. Now, out of those 182 calls, she had 38 conversations. She has 5 leads. Now, my question to all of you is, if those 5 leads turn into 5 seller listings, how many of you would make 182 expired listing calls today if you knew you were going to get 5 listings from making the calls? You know, I'm actually looking to see hands going up, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to hit your goals? Guys, I'm talking to you. How motivated are you to hit your goals? Now, if motivation is the challenge, if you say, well, I'm an 8 or I'm a 7, then, you know, nobody take this the wrong way. I'm probably going to offend somebody. We got 66 people on the call. Let's see who jumps after I say this. If you're a 7 or you're an 8, if you're anything but a 10, then you're going to get 7 motivation results. You're going to get the results of somebody who is 70% motivated to hit those goals. You don't like that? I'm sorry, but it's true. So what are the obstacles that are standing between you and the goals that you want to achieve? Now, W is your way forward. W is the prescription. If you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, you know, I'm not feeling well, the doctor's going to ask questions, and then she's going to give you a prescription. She's going to say, here's the prescription. Take this medication for the next week, and you're going to feel better. Now, it's a week later, and you're not better, but you didn't take the motivation because I don't want to take that. I don't want to take the medication. I'm just not going to do it. Well, is it the doctor's fault that you're not better? Or is that your fault? It's your fault. So W is the prescription that we're going to write in order to close the gap. And again, here's the focus question. What's the one thing that I can do that I am currently not doing, that if I started doing it today, it would move me closer to my goals? Every single one of you should write down the answer to that question. What's the one thing that I can do that I'm currently not doing, that if I started doing it today, it would move me closer to my goals? Now, the next model that I want to talk to you about is E to P. Now, E to P simply says that, and these, one leads to another, by the way. The grow model leads to the E to P model. And E is entrepreneurial. In other words, this is what you do naturally. You got your real estate license. You started selling real estate. Some of you have been in sales before. Some of you have a higher ceiling of achievement because of just natural ability. But the one thing we all have in common is we have ceilings of achievement. I don't care how much natural ability you have or how much experience you have. Prior to getting in real estate, you still have these ceilings of achievement. Now, yours might be higher than somebody else's. And then again, yours might be lower than someone else's. Somebody might be that their ceiling of achievement is nothing. In other words, they're getting 0 production. And here's what happens when you hit this ceiling. You don't just hit it once and that's it. You hit the ceiling of achievement and you bounce back down. You hit it again and you bounce back down. Now, when you hit that ceiling of achievement, it creates pain. That pain leads to frustration. Frustration leads to resignation. Resignation simply means this is as good as it gets. In other words, I'm just not a real estate agent that closes 36 sales a year. I close 3, 4, 5 sales a year, and I'm happy. You're not happy. You settled. And my biggest frustration with real estate agents is they settle. They settle for good when great is still an option. Now, if you're on this call and you got your license to make part-time money, you want to sell 4 or 5 homes a year, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those agents who had bigger dreams. I'm talking to those agents who had a goal of selling 24, 36 homes a year, providing for their family, living a life that up until now they can only dream about. I'm talking to those agents who have a huge why. They need to close 24, 36 homes. I'm talking to you guys. And frustration leads to resignation, which leads to greener paths. In other words, you start to think, well, it isn't working here. Maybe it'll work there. Greener pasture. Sorry, guys. It isn't working here, Jacqueline. Maybe it'll work there. So I can't be the problem. The problem has to be my broker, my team leader. It has to be the market. It has to be anything but me. And you have to look in the mirror and understand you're the problem. You're the reason you're not hitting your goals. By the way, that's a good thing, because what if it really was the market? What if it really was the economy? What if it really was your broker? What if it really was the president? What if it really was interest rates? What if it was all of these things? Well, then you have no possibility of living a bigger, better life, because you're not the problem. But when you can look in the mirror and say, I'm the reason that I'm not hitting my goals, then you look for P. P is purposeful. In other words, P for Emma was, I'm going to start making these expired calls, even though I don't want to. I'm going to do it. P is hire a coach. P is attend this call every single day and implement what you're learning. Don't attend it for entertainment. It's not that entertaining. Attend this in order to implement what you're learning. All of these are examples of P, and when you get to P, it leads to breakthroughs. Now, breakthroughs don't happen gradually. You break through that wall with amazing inertia and energy. Here's the other thing. Before you have a breakthrough, you're always going to have a breakdown. Breakdowns always happen before breakthroughs. If you find yourself having a breakdown, you should stop, talk to yourself, and acknowledge the fact this is a good thing. I'm having this breakdown. I'm hit rock bottom. I'm ready to give up. This sucks. I can't do this. A breakthrough is coming. But here's the problem. So many people give up right before they experience that breakthrough. The greatest tragedy in life is not that we fail. The greatest tragedy in life is there you are, and that's it. You almost broke through, and you stopped. And here's the thing. How do you know tomorrow isn't the day that you have the breakthrough? If you choose to give up today, how do you know tomorrow isn't going to be the day that you have that massive breakthrough? You don't. So again, this falls on you. You either choose to persist without exception, or you choose to give up. And everybody will tell me, John, I persist. I'm persistent. You are until you're not. There's a big difference between persistence and persistence without exception. In Andy Andrews' book, The Traveler's Gift, he talks about one of the principles that we live that dictate our life is the principle that I will persist without exception. Matter of fact, it's the 7th principle in his book, The Traveler's Gift, and it's an amazing story about this man who visits this warehouse that is like heaven-like, not heaven, but heaven-like. And it's a huge warehouse, so big that you can't see the ceiling, so big that you can't see the walls. And in this warehouse are all of these things. And the archangel, Michael, I think, I could be wrong, approaches Andy, and Andy, or the guy's name in the book, don't tell me, David Ponder. He approaches David Ponder, and David asks him, what is all of this? And his response was, these are all the things that never were. Now, all of these things existed because the person that God put on the earth to bring that thing into reality gave up before it was created. The one opportunity for that thing to be a reality has passed. What are you capable of? How do you know what you're capable of? You don't. So, constant growth is ultimately the one goal that you will never achieve. And that's a good thing. Because if you get to the top of the mountain, what good is that? The top of the mountain is only good for one thing. It's a view of where you're going next. All right, Todd Bailey, talk to me.
John, what did you say? I will persist until what?
I will persist without exception. I am on a journey with a destination that is assured. I am on a journey with a destination that is assured. I will persist without exception. Now, this is not in a book. You're not going to find this anywhere. This is just how I think. So this is where you are, little stick person. This is the journey, and that's the destination. Now, as you go on this journey, you are going to be faced with obstacles. You're going to be faced with roadblocks. You're going to be faced with dream bullies who tell you you can't do this. You should give up. You should look for a better way, greener pastures. And you're going to be tempted to take detours as you're on this trip. And if you have the mindset that I am on a destination, I am on a journey with a destination that is assured, and I will persist without exception, then the destination is a guarantee. And if you look at time, the way I believe God looks at time, saying yesterday, today, and forever, omnipotent and omnipresent, at the beginning and at the end at the same time. In his eyes, you're already there. You just have to complete the journey. And again, if you don't, that's on you. You're the only person that can stop you. All right, guys, talk to me.
This was really good stuff. I mean, it's such a reminder with all the chaos happening in the world that we just have to take control of our own destiny. Either we get up and do the work, or it doesn't happen.
Right. That's right. Do the work. By the way, to plus what Brian just said, do the work. What is work? You have to define what work means to you. Work to me is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17. Because if I have 18 conversations and I stop because it's close enough, or I tell myself I'll make it up tomorrow, which I won't, I didn't have the 19th conversation or 20th conversation that could have been $1 million listing that I didn't get simply because I didn't have the conversation. It's having non-negotiable standards and then holding yourself to those non-negotiable standards every day, focusing on the standards, not the results. When you focus on the standards, you'll always succeed because you choose success. When you focus on the results, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to want to give up. Russell, 62-year-old at the time, great front man. What did I miss? Something in here before that.
Steven Tyler.
There we go. Okay.
I wanted to say, About 15 years ago, I guess, when I was changing offices between one area of Coldwell Banker to another area, my business was kind of down, and I did which ended just, I think it was called Sweat Hogs before. It wasn't that when I did it, but we did all these different things that we didn't want to do because we have to come into class and say our results. And what I learned from that time was, and we went out and found for sale by owners was there, I never have to be broke. I never have to be without business. That is completely up to me. What I didn't have was this daily coaching to get my butt up and get me motivated when I don't want to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning. But every time I do, it starts my day better. And more than ever, I know that if I don't ever have to be broke, I never have to. There is business out there for the getting. And it was so important to hear this morning that it's up to you. It's nobody else's fault, but you picking up the phone or you knocking on the door or you going out and networking. It's not changing companies. It's not, this isn't for me. It's there. So thank you for that reminder for not only myself, but for everyone.
You got it, Jacqueline. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Todd Bailey and then Sean Fuentes.
John Deeds, what do you say? I think Jacqueline is kind of hitting the nail on the head. Jacqueline is a super top producer for those who don't know. Does millions and millions every year.
Tens of millions.
Tens of millions of yeah. Anyway, what do you say to the, and this might be self-therapy. This is self-therapy. What do you say? Like, I mean, I'm also a top producer.
Yep.
I get to a point though where I'm just like, oh, this is good enough. This is fine. And then I find out, oh, you got a $75,000 tax bill. Oh, well, shit. Forgot about that. Like, so I end up in this kind of similar cycle, but it's not 6 or 7 deals a year. It's, 40 to 50.
Right.
So what do you say to, like, because things are good enough, right? And so I rationalize and tell myself, like, oh, it's fine. It's good. Like, I don't need to worry about that.
So Todd, my answer is you got to find a bigger why. As long as you consistently look for the bigger why, you're never going to get complacent with the results because you're always going to be pushing yourself to achieve more. And so often, the survive to thrive model, it starts with survival. We go from survival to stability. We go from stability to success, from success to significance, and from significance to legacy. What you're going to find when you are a super top producer like Todd Bailey and Jacqueline is that big why is going to be in significance and legacy. So many people get to success and they stop. They never complete the journey. So the answer is find the bigger why and you will never settle. Sean Fuentes, you're up.
For me, putting new things in my schedule is hard. So for me, it's a snowball effect. And that could be, I don't know that I could put 189 calls in my schedule in 2 weeks. And so that would be daunting. That would make me say, you know what? I'd rather go get a cup of coffee or do something else. But I could put one call a day in my schedule.
Start there.
And then it's a snowball effect because I do one call and then I'm like, wow, that took 3 minutes. Maybe I should do another. And then just keep going until something else. But just build it slowly. Just like this call. This call was hard to get on at 8 a.m. when I first started.
Yeah.
And I was lucky when I got on. It was a Friday and I didn't get called to say anything. And I was shaking in my boots. But now it's just part of what I do.
There you go.
Started with one call, with one morning.
There you go. Add one more, add one more, add one more, add one more. All right, Matthew Kemps is going to take us out, and that's going to be a wrap. Let's go, Matthew.
And then I'll throw this out there for anyone who's thinking about it. Like if you're trying to compare yourself to others and be better, like for a competition, don't do it.
That's
Just
right.
make sure that you are doing better than what you think you can do, because that only that matters is going to be how much work you do for yourself than anything else. Your work ethic might be higher than anybody else's, but again, it doesn't matter what anyone else's is. It's how well you do and what your personal goals are.
Matthew, thank you so much for sharing that. Could not agree with you more. Comparing yourself to others is the pathway to mediocrity. Too many people compare themselves to other people, and that's why they're average. And what do you compare yourself to? The answer is not yourself. If that's what you're thinking, that's not the answer. What you compare yourself to is your potential. What are you capable of? All right. Make it a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We'll get them, everybody.
Thanks,
Okay,
John.
good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Go get them.